I met Bruce Lee in 1964. My first impression when I saw him do an exhibition at the International Karate Tournament, one of the first tournaments in California or in the U.S. It was an awesome exhibition. It was an exhibition that wasn't shown in the Western world. Kung Fu was very, very secretive at that time, and it was Bruce Lee who had break that bar about training in Chinese Kung Fu. He had one of his students, I think it was Taki Kimura, that came up with him, and they were doing Chizao type sparring. He had demonstrated his 1-inch punch against from a volunteer from the audience, and he demonstrated his speed by having a black belt try to block his punch, and he struck, and it could not touch him or block his hand speed. I wouldn't think or say that he was the first. I know the Kajikembo founders, Chief Imperato, Adriano Imperato, he was a boxer, and he saw Kempo karate, and he saw judo and jiu-jitsu, and that's where Kajikembo came from. So they had they used eclectic type martial arts to form Kajikembo. Bruce Lee was in a way an individual where he just took things that worked for him. He liked the boxing, he liked the fencing for the center line control or theory, and the grappling arts, the hand trapping. I was very fortunate to be at the right time in the right place, and to train with Bruce Lee at his house. Those were private sessions, one-on-one with teacher and student. And those sessions were geared to the individual and not to the classroom work. So we will work on my weak points and how I can strengthen certain things like my kicking ability or the hand trapping. And it was a one-on-one, and you always ended up in sparring. Bruce Lee liked to spar to everybody just so that he can get his game better. Bruce Lee was a perfectionist, and he treated everybody as an individual, like the big heavy people. He would work on things that would be to his benefit. For me, because I had my boxing background, he worked on my hand speed. I lacked the flexibility. He worked on my flexibility. Well, the first time I trained with Bruce Lee, I met Mito Yurihara. Mito was a black belt in Aikido. He was also the publisher and owner of Black Belt magazine at the time. And so when I went to train with Bruce Lee, I met Mito, and Mito and I were training. Mito had no hands or kicking ability, so I was working with Mito, and Bruce was coaching both of us. Danny Nosanto, Ted Wong was one of the regulars with Bruce Lee, Danny Lee, and some of the chosen few of in Bruce Lee's school at the Lee Jung Fan Kung Fu Institute in Chinatown. My curriculum was based on reality martial arts. We wore headgear, chest protectors, shin guards, baseball shin guards, boxing gloves, and we try to outpoint, hit each other. And to know what reality is, because in that time it was a point sparring type technique, so you won't hurt your own partner. But he wanted us to go full bore in the punches and the kicks, knees and elbows, and the grappling arts. Bruce Lee took his art to a philosophical level, and one being the individual is more important than any established style or system. He wanted to free his students from limitations and bondage, and for the individual to have their own original creativity, such as shadowboxing or the way of fighting. And his philosophy about the individual is more important brought us to another level. Bruce Lee didn't want us to train or be just like him. He wanted us to have our own creative Jukundo way. And he loved reading. He read all of philosophical books. You name anybody, Mahatma Gandhi, the Zen sayings, and he picked up from that and then used it for his physical martial arts. You know, in his 4 walls, he had books from the floor to the ceiling, and I used to go there and just look at those books all the time. I never saw books like that. But he used to collect books, and you know he read the books because every books I used to pick up, he had it underlined, and he had notes about different things. And technique-wise, you know, I saw one technique that he underlined, no good. The hand is winding up for a strike when the hand is right there. He could have struck from there, you know, and things like that. But philosophical-wise, pictorial, he always used to make comments about certain things for his own martial arts.